Let's talk about the question that everyone wants to know. How long does it take to balance your hormones and heal your cycle? If you're new here, hi, my name is Denise. I'm a cycle health coach and a clinical herbalist. Now, I get asked this question very frequently, and it is the question that I myself had when I was struggling with a hormonal imbalance. Now, you're going to hate me, but of course, the answer isn't very straightforward because it depends. It depends what kind of hormone imbalance is going on, the cause of it, if it was caused by either birth control, stress related, if it is maybe a nutrient deficiency situation, if there is an illness, sickness. There is a lot of reasons why our hormones can get out of balance, and it will vary depending on what caused it in the first place. Next thing to consider is how long it's been going on. If it's only been going on for 2 or 3 cycles, then it should be able to correct itself relatively easily. But if you've struggled with a hormonal imbalance for years, then it's going to be taking a little bit more effort to kind of get those hormones back online the way they should be because it is kind of like a cascade. For instance, when your hormones are out of balance, it can impact your overall sleep, which of course will loop back and impact those hormones, which can then impact your gut health and liver health, which once again goes back and further impacts your hormonal health. That's because your liver is in charge of processing all of the used up and excess hormones. Now, if your digestive system is then compromised, inflamed, it can be a lot more difficult for you to be able to absorb the nutrients from the food you're eating, which is going to impact your gut microbiome, which will once again loop back and impact your hormones. So it is a different cascade of many different systems that start to go a little awry whenever there is a hormonal imbalance, and that is especially the case whenever there is stress or cortisol into the mix, where it would just kind of compounds these issues even more. So unfortunately, it is not very straightforward when it comes to how long it takes to be able to get your hormones back on track, back in balance. So how long it takes will depend on you as an individual. So now let's talk about what you can do to help your body be able to get your hormones back online and get your cycle back. So like I mentioned before, there is a lot of different things at play when it comes to our hormonal and cycle health. How well we're sleeping at night, what we're eating, lifestyle factors such as how often we're drinking, smoking, stress, all of these can impact our overall health and specifically our hormonal health. So it is something that we need to look into or address when we are trying to get our hormones back online. Now, something that we do need to remember before I go into these is that our health is very individualistic. What works for me might not work for you. So it's good to keep that in mind whenever you are considering changing up your lifestyle and just kind of tweaking it to what suits you the best. But here's some generally good advice. Let's start off with sleep. As a general rule, it is good to get roughly 8 to 9 hours of sleep if possible. Sleep is super important to, once again, of course, our overall health, hormonal health. It is the time where in Chinese medicine it says that the liver is kind of working the most during that time. Ideally, you want the sleep to be uninterrupted, and if you can, try to use either blackout curtains to really be able to get that good quality sleep. Next up is our environment. How many products do we have that have potential hormone disruptors in them can not in themselves cause a hormone imbalance, but over time, with a compounding of other aspects, can cause or lead to a hormonal imbalance. So, trying to limit any of the plastics that we are cooking with, eating with, especially when it comes to maybe our skincare or makeup products. Looking at the EWG database to make sure that the ingredients from the products that we're putting on our face are generally pretty clean, that don't have a whole lot of hormone disruptors in them. Making sure our cleaning products have good clean ingredients in them, and overall just anything that we are exposed to on a daily basis that doesn't have any hormone disruptors in them. Now, of course, stress is on the list. Stress, I would say, is probably our number one most common hormone disruptor that we now deal with, face with on a daily basis. So it's good to kind of sit with yourself and figure out what helps you distress because it honestly will vary by individual. If you like nature, going out for walks, doing exercise, reading books, breath work, meditation, painting, anything that helps you kind of unwind and really just calm down at the end of the day. And that's the key there is at the end of the day is a good general rule because you do want to be doing, of course, doing it frequently because I don't know about you, but we get stressed frequently. And last up is nutrition. Now, nutrition is a really big topic, which I will probably do a whole other video on. Now, the way I think about it is four main ideas or things to be keeping in mind when you are putting a meal or a plate together, and that is a protein, healthy fats, some good carbs, and something fresh. And that's it. That's all you really need to think about when it comes to constructing your meals. Now, something that I do want to circle back to real quick is that healthy fat component. Our bodies do need fat to be able to function. Things like our skin, joints, hair, all of these have oil components that do need to be replenished, ideally with a healthy fat alternative. A lot of our current Western diet has a lot of omega 6 oils, but we do need a lot more omega 3s and omega 6s. So, kind of focusing on quote unquote healthy oils, so things like sardines, olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, organic butter. All of these are good oils that we should be trying to incorporate on a daily basis in our meals. And of course, trying to increase our fiber intake. Our current diet does lack a lot of fiber, and we do want fiber to be able to have regular bowel movements because that is part of the eliminatory pathway, which we are excreting all of the used up and excess hormones. Now, before I forget something, I want to also circle back to when it comes to hormone disruptors in our environment, which not a lot of people think about, is also our menstrual products. The ingredients that are in pads and tampons are really important, and even menstrual cups are really important because our vagina is very absorbent. And if there is any type of synthetic chemical or ingredient in there, it can eventually make it to our bloodstream. They can help add on to the hormonal imbalance burden that our body is trying to process when it does come to more of those synthetic products. So, of course, trying to opt for organic cotton whenever possible or a menstrual cup. Now, if you do want to learn more about how to balance your hormones naturally, heal your cycle, then I'd recommend checking out the PDFs I have linked below that go through different lesson plans on, first of all, your just general cycle, going through each phase of your cycle, telling you what's going on, as well as I have a couple of PDFs that look into meal plans, nutrition, and other goodies that I'll just have linked down below. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll be seeing you next time.